brought forward. So that's the crux that actually makes me try and do the right thing now and keep away from all bad things. My faith in Allah and the fear of others' punishment is what makes me try and do the right thing now and keep away from haram and bad things. I embraced Islam in Port Hedland and went back to Adelaide, and I told him, look, I've embraced this religion of Islam, and my brother laughed at me because he thought it was a big joke, you know. And I told him, look, I'm serious, this is something which I never knew before, and I've come to know things which I believe are correct and it's truthful. And once again, he joked about it. My mum thought it was a bit of a joke too. She's a bit worried I was involved with some cult or some sect of, she didn't really know anything about Islam. But after a while, they could see the change in me. I was trying to do the right things, trying not to drink, not to take drugs, and just in that change, not to swear, they could see there's something good in it. Alhamdulillah, they accepted that I'd taken on this new faith, but they didn't really want to know much about it. It wasn't until I actually went back to Perth a year later that my brother come over and he wanted to know more about it. And I had a group of Muslims staying with me at that time, and he was watching us pray. He looked through the door into the room and watching us pray, and he saw how peaceful it looked and how down to earth it looked, and that appealed to him. And bit by bit, giving him dawah, eventually he come to realise that it is true. And out of the blue, he said to me one day, look, I want to be a Muslim. I want what you've got. So alhamdulillah, he embraced Islam. And from there, he started to practice. He actually went overseas, went to India, Bangladesh. He was involved with Tabligh Jamaat for a little while. So he went for about 8 months. He was away. Ended up marrying a girl from Bangladesh. And so then he was on the road to practicing Islam, alhamdulillah. Then with myself and him living over here, my mother would come over for holidays, and we started telling her a little bit more about Islam, and we were practicing more then, and she could see some good points of it. And even though she had no religion, she was brought up with no religion, she always believed that there was a God. So when we told her that this God that she believed in is the God of Muhammad and Adam and all the different prophets, and eventually she out of the blue, she also said, I want to be Muslim. And alhamdulillah, she said the Shahada probably about 5 years, 6 years after I become Muslim. And now she still lives with us, and she's 82. She's been Muslim now for about 15 years. Alhamdulillah, she's at the moment she's just found out last year that she got cancer, and it's going to be terminal. But she's now that she's Muslim, she knows what she's looking forward to, and she's accepted it. Alhamdulillah, I feel good for her. If she dies Muslim. And now, of course, I just got one sister to go who we're working on. She's a bit of a hard case, a bit of a businesswoman, and but alhamdulillah, when we give her dawah, she can see there's something there that she can't argue with, and we hope eventually, inshallah, that she will also become Muslim.
The tallest tower in Ajman is rising. Manara Ajman at the Crest, a multifaceted development featuring the best of commercial, residential and retail opportunity. The Crest, redefining Ajman's future. Al Baraka, building value through integrity.
Assalamu alaikum, peace be with you. I am Zain Bika from South Africa, and you are watching Peace TV, the solution for humanity.
एक आवाज जो बर्रे सगीर से निकली और सारी दुनिया में गूंज उठी, वो आवाज जो सच की पैरवी करती है, वो आवाज जो सच की गवाही देती है, वो आवाज जो गहराई में जाकर आपके सामने सच को पेश करती है।
सच का इजहार है मेरा फर्ज, सच का जानना है आपका हक, है आपका हक, है आपका हक।
डॉक्टर जाकिर नाइक पेश करेंगे सच जो आपको जगाए। इजहारे हक, अगला प्रोग्राम पीस टीवी पर।
Well, it's simplicity, I think, and the believing in one God and accepting all the other prophets as prophets, and Jesus as a prophet. And you know, it didn't. It sort of fitted in with already, Christian belief that we were brought up with. There was nothing alien about it. So it was easy to accept that, Muhammad is the last prophet. And of course, when you start reading the Quran, and then I started learning more and looking into the science of the Quran, and I found, I always used to pick holes in the Bible because there's so many holes to pick, so many contradictions and mistakes. And I found with the Quran, when I tried to do the same thing, I couldn't do it. Everything it said, it was backed with proof. And it's just, it sort of, Allah sort of forced me into showing me that this is 100%, from the creator of everything. No mistakes, no contradictions, dealing with all aspects of science and life. And it's convinced me. Oh, well, a lot of questions, why you can't get married, how is Jesus a God, in what way, he looks like a human being, I couldn't accept a God looking like a human being. It was just instinctively I'd reject that, And of course, when Islam says he's a prophet of God, well, that just makes sense. Yeah, he's a man. I always saw him as a man. And of course, the Christian impression you have when you're young is that, if Jesus is God, then you've got his father with an old man with grey hair and all this sort of thing. This is an impression that you get when you're young and you're brought up with, But the more I saw about life, I realised that God is not human-like. He knows what everything's happening. He controls everything. I can see that. It's just it's just too complex to fathom that you could, imagine what he looks like, When I first embraced Islam, it was mainly with the Malay, Cocos Island, Christmas Island community. And their background, most of their backgrounds were, originally they come from Hinduism. And of course, I'm reading the Quran and I'm reading Hadith and I'm looking at the people and I don't see what I'm reading. I see some very strange things going on. And it took me a long time, it took me years to actually sort out what was really Islam and what was their customs, traditions and things dragged over from Hinduism and other religions, So, alhamdulillah, bit by bit, from reading Quran, the more knowledge I got and more knowledge of Hadith, then I could sift out, where they're following things, their customs and traditions.